Hey, hi, hello, and welcome to the Afterparty live from the Rolling Bones tour. It's not live. Misha's editing it. Thank you, Misha. Hi, everybody. We're live and in person in the sitting room of a wonderful Airbnb owned by two retirees who are cavorting around South America, in the words of their niece, Jill. Thank you, Jill.
Thank you, Jill. This episode sponsored by Jill.
And Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino. Radicalize people listening to these ads.
That's a joke that you'll understand if you purchase the VOD to the Minneapolis live show, which you can do today at jointhepartypod.com/live, or tickets to the additional things that we haven't even done yet, such as, at the time of this publication, New York City, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C.
Whoa. Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. So we're going to do a full tour recap, but in the meantime, there is so much to talk about. Anyone want to give me just like a context-free highlight of what you've enjoyed from tour so far? Julia.
Tote, road, shag 'em all. Tote, road, shag 'em all.
Say it again.
Tote, road, shag 'em all. Tote, road, shag 'em all.
Here we go now.
Tote, road, shag 'em all. Tote, road, shag 'em all.
The year is 72 and things are on the streets.
So good. You will have to watch the Minneapolis live show to understand. I'm so sorry.
We've eaten so many good sandwiches on the tour already. This is like day 3, and I've had 2 of some of the best sandwiches I've ever had in my life.
Which one was the first one?
The one in Seattle, the one we had with you. Yeah. We had a Caribbean sandwich place.
It's called Bongos.
Bongos.
It was named, my sandwich was named after Desi Arnaz. That's how you know it was
Is
hot.
that why it's called the Desi?
Yes, buddy. Yeah. And because you shove it in your mouth like Lucy at the Chocolate Factory. And then also we had some really good banh mi's that we Airbnb'd to this place.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was tasty.
So good.
It's been a real reminder that I'm like, hey guys, I don't really love sandwiches, and every meal has been a sandwich.
Every lunch has been a sandwich.
Okay, yeah.
Because we've had lunch at like 2 o'clock before the, 7 or 8 o'clock showtime, so that we're not like totally full of sandwich, but we are fueled. And it's just like, it's hard to find something else at that time.
Yeah.
Julia, is it difficult to be living in a family right now of three sandwich heads and one not sandwich head?
I survive. Like I got a bowl when we went to Bongos instead of getting a sandwich, even though I got a sandwich the day before.
It's true. Again, much, much more tour content to come, much more tour to come, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
But folks, let's get into the many excellent questions that we got here from Join the Party listeners for Legends of the Meeting, episodes 4 through 6.
Woo.
All right, we begin with Legends of the Meeting 4, episode 37, which was our ship battle.
Battle!
I had so many more questions about the layout than made it into the edit. So, Brandon, thank you for cutting those. And Eric, thank you for answering the same question that I asked several times.
I did the same thing. I had to cut both mine and everyone's just questions about like, okay, so this is a boat, Eric? So
There's stairs?
So you've been living on the boat the entire time. It's a boat, right? Okay, it's a boat. It's a boat.
But
and there's a left and a right?
Yeah.
But Brandon's never been on a boat.
That's true. Brandon's
that's
never been
true.
on a boat.
My grandpa, we did grow up, but my grandpa loved boating, and he did have a little motorboat, and I still know fucking nothing about boats.
Also, a motorboat is just like a coffee mug with a motor on the back. Like
That's true.
there's nothing else in it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Amanda, I saw your dad step through your mouth when you said that. You turned into a 55-year-old man who lives on the North Shore. It was crazy.
Eric, some great stone walls around these parts of Minneapolis, I gotta tell you.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
2 things. One, I still remember back from campaign 2 where the whole point of that first arc was because you guys were low-level superheroes, was like you were just fighting some stupid street toughs. And it's like, yeah, they have a stupid boathouse on a stupid pond. And Brandon's like, oh, a rich boy. And I'm like, no, they are idiots. They are idiots that have a boat there.
I still maintain that anyone who has a boathouse and at or near your residence, you're rich.
No, they don't. They only have the boathouse, and they all have to share it. That's the thing.
Also, Brandon helpfully was like, are we sure people will know what a boathouse is? And all 3 of us were like, yes, they
It
will.
seems pretty self-explanatory. It houses the boats, Brandon.
The thing that y'all also don't know is I did some sound design for, I think it was the press sessions a long time ago, and I had to ask both Lauren and Briggan, what the fuck is a boathouse? What does it sound like? What sound design would be around it? What's the reverb? Is it inside? Is it indoors or outdoors? That's another context.
It's the
free
sound
spoiler
of
for the tour.
moldering wood. That's what it sounds like.
Creaky wood, yeah.
It sounds like mildew.
Yeah, it sounds like mildew. It sounds like water slowly eroding wood, but no one else is noticing it other than Mother Nature.
But they have like one side open where the boats go in? Is that right?
Yeah,
it's like
garage.
it's a boat garage. It's a shitty wooden moldering boat garage.
It's like if a deck had a roof.
The deck had a roof.
Yeah, it's like a garage, but it's all made out of wood, and then there's another level where people can hang out and smoke like terrible vapes.
Yes.
All right, audience, tell me if you already knew that.
But to talk about this, because I know you all so well, I know that I did a good job when Julia emotes at me. And when we're doing a fight, I know that I'm doing a good job when she is just radiating frustration and that she can't dominate what I'm doing. I know that I've made it properly difficult if Julia has not just absolutely wiped me and is shooting anger beams at me over Zoom.
And us, because we're not doing the right thing.
And I'm like, no, Julia, you're in a different place. Cammie won't be able to help anyone else.
It's difficult not being omniscient and omnipresent.
Just emotional. Yeah, how did you feel about this type of fight?
Loved it. It was so much fun. I feel like Troy wasn't as useful as I wanted him to be, but, it's a Troy Riptide story. That's okay.
Listen, sometimes, you play a martial class and they're very useful in certain stuff and not so great in other things. And I think that's true of any class, really. But Troy is really good at the shit that he does.
Thank you.
That's the important part.
Yeah, it good. I like Eric.
Yeah.
It good he like.
I thought this whole thing was like, you have pirates around. We've established, and we get into it in the next episode, like, yeah, everyone wants your key. And they will do anything to get it. And they've been looking at you and they know who you are. Maybe people have been disseminating information about the people who have the key and the various keys. And of course, like, there's no like scanning process to figure out who got the key in the first place because there's so many maze keys around, right? So that's why they were like, oh, we're going to steal it and I'm going to do it in any way possible. And y'all just got hit.
Eric, you've perfectly set me up for my presentation on why the blockchain is necessary for establishing ownership once and for all of the keys.
Oh no, we lost that tape. So weird. I think there's a glitch in the tape there for a second. But
Aurelio comes out and says, like, I invented something new. It's called the blockchain, and it's just a new anchor.
Yep.
It's a cinder block on a big chain.
Very good.
It will keep everything secure.
it is made out of ivy, and it's very pretty.
No, it's secure. It's made out of metal.
Oh,
That's why it's new. That's why I invented it.
Eric, EP Fellow wants to know, was it intentional for the party to assume that the dandelion situation was a Radbert-related thing? Or did you just underestimate their connection-drawing abilities, even if the connections they draw are not quite right?
There's another Discord user that has the same question, and it's me, Brandon.
I want to say, I think my connection things are usually right.
They are usually right. Yeah, by the players overall, just 2/3 of us are usually wrong. Me and Brandon, and 1/3 of us is usually right. Julia. Luckily, we have enough sense to listen to Julia.
I need Julia to be right because it means that my clues are working.
Yeah.
That's what I need. Is like I feel destabilized if I'm like, if no one gets your puzzle, you're not a puzzle master.
Yeah.
You're an asshole.
Yeah, I was talking
I'm going to put that on a t-shirt for you too, Eric.
Thank you.
I was talking to someone about that recently where we were talking about like laying clues out for people in like writing novels and stuff like
foreshadowing,
that.
yeah.
Yes, and like your foreshadowing has to be good so that when the reveal happens, people can look back and be like, oh, there were clues the whole time, but not so obvious that people are like 10 pages in, they're like, well, obviously the butler did it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The classic one of this, I mean, Amanda, you're such a lost person. So like that was Damon
You're
Lindelof.
lost? What
Not
went
like in
wrong?
life, more about the television show.
Oh,
yeah. Lost parentheses Damon Lindelof. Lost parentheses 2006.
Yeah. So like they struggled with that constantly because they were the first TV writers to go online, which they should never do. But of course, classically, the second season of Westworld, everyone figured out what it was and then they changed it because they're assholes. That's confirmed. The writers of Westworld changed the end, the puzzle box, because they didn't want people to get it because so many people had gotten it so quickly.
That
Alex
sucks.
Hirsch did that with Gravity Falls, but leaked fake stills to throw people off the scent.
Yeah, because he's a thoughtful, nice man.
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
Yeah.
That's why Gravity Falls rips.
Yes. 100%. But I like that way, being like, I have this vision. People guessed what that vision is. I'm going to fuck with them just a little bit so that it fucks them up.
But that's like he was talking to the internet. Like, it was an active, these TV writers were like actively upset that the internet figured out their puzzle box before. And like, it sucks.
Yeah, it's
You're
like,
just telling your audience to shut up and not participate.
it's like Marvel, who intentionally leaks bad information to leakers for the internet. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you see your audience as combative and you're like, wait a second.
Yeah.
What am I doing? I'm making something to be consumed.
What's the point of
No,
this?
they're the ones who are wrong in consuming it. So yeah, it's like if some people get it, make it up. I wasn't thinking explicitly about it, honestly. I was just kind of thinking about like, what would this trap be? Because I wanted this to be like a creeping thing, and I wanted the combatants to be not the primary aggressor. I wanted you to be fighting a trap, and I thought it was fun doing, because we never do things in enclosed spaces in campaign 3 because things are usually outside. So it was nice like letting something come up through the hull and then go up, and then you guys need to decide how you want to defeat it. And what Umbi did, which he didn't know he was doing, but he was defending the prize. Like, you guys didn't even figure out what it was they were trying to get at, because you knew it was like a lot of dramatic irony. I knew what you had, you knew what you had, but the bandits didn't.
Yeah.
So you were defending things that you didn't even know you were defending. So that actually ended up working out really interestingly.
The prize being the key and the key mold, right?
Well, they didn't know you have the key mold.
Oh,
they
but
just
I knew
wanted
it.
the key. And that's why I kept asking you, where is the key?
I knew what I was defending because you were giving us good hints of what they were trying to get at. That's why I went to the office.
Well, yeah, you were just like,
Yeah.
I'm going to lock down our stuff.
This
but you
special
didn't
important
know
stuff.
I wanted your stuff specifically.
Sure.
And you didn't even know that I knew that my NPCs didn't know
Yes, correct.
that the key mold existed, because people don't even know about the key mold.
Right.
Which I thought was really funny. And you were like, why is no one in this room? I'm like, that's a good question, Brandon. That's because they didn't make it there. That's because Troy,
invisible men.
yeah, they were invisible, right? Because Troy lit them all on fire. That's why. Nani electrocuted all of them, and Troy lit them on fire.
We did a great job with that.
That was awesome. I thought it was really funny.
Speaking of which, Ginger would like to know, after seeing the difference of Bartlett and Nani in combat this episode, with one electrocuting people and the other immediately getting killed, is there any chance that the new Bartlett will get some upgrades? If so, what?
I just want to say, first of all, rude. Bartlett is valid and important at any
It
skill
has one
level.
hit point!
Bartlett is more of a extension of my character's ability to like see various places. Like it's like a eagle eye bird situation, like a Assassin's Creed Eagle situation.
Oh, yeah. Where
that's
it's
the
like,
point
it's
of it.
really more of a power that we put into a living creature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As opposed to like an actual Nani. Yeah.
Right, and Nani is designed for combat as the witch's class.
Wait a second. Hold the phone. Sir, stop the presses.
Okay.
Are you saying, Mr. President, tear down this conversation.
Okay.
Are you saying that you could express characterization and differences between characters through game mechanics?
I don't think so.
I think if we emailed Mage Hand Mike, he might say yes.
Mage Hand Mike, you crazy for this one, boy?
We can in West Germany, but not in East Germany.
Tough.
Mr. Mage Hand Mike, tear down this wall.
Also, Nani's usefulness is almost solely from you allowing me to attach a electric whip to her.
The mechanics fit. That's fine. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I stand by that. If Nani was around for long enough, you found. God, let's trace. Can we trace this back for a
Yeah.
second? We're 40 episodes ish into campaign 3 at
Exactly
this point.
40. Exactly 40.
Oh yeah, we're exactly 40. I sniped that. I know numbers. I'm so good at numbers. Let's work backwards. So you've had Nani the entire time because the witch class soups up the familiar, right? So Nani is there. Nani has been there. Nani has participated. You got the electric whip from the base building mechanics that we invented, that you had to choose and spend items, spend currency on, and then you had to roll on a 1d6 table.
And then I got Brandon mad at me, and that's what happened with the aubergine situation.
Right, and then aubergine sprung from there. That's the one. It's like we're watching the family tree that goes all the way off to the left. And then you found magics that allowed this to do it inside of Vault of Secrets because you were investigating the entire time, and it said it explicitly in the text that you could do that theoretically.
Benign dismemberment.
Like, there we go. Like, it fits, and then, of course, now you're applying it, so I can't be mad. Like, it all makes narrative sense, or gameplay sense, honestly.
But maybe, the answer to the question, maybe Bartlett upgrades in the future? Who can say? I don't know.
I don't even know, because I don't even think you can, because of...
But maybe I'll get an electric whip type situation, you know? Who
Or
knows?
maybe in the, like, using Bartlett as an intercom, like we did when holding out at Havana's house, maybe he'll get some voice mods, so you can have some, you know, some like cool or creepy effects.
That would be kind of cool. That'd be interesting.
That would be cool.
That'd be fun.
Eric, Ben, and also others wanted to know, this is Ben's specific question, but we got this one a few times. Were the expanding foamy dandelion pollen inspired by something in real life, or just by that one scene in The Incredibles where Mr. Incredible gets squooshed by the expanding foam balls in Syndrome's lair? Phenomenal choice, no matter what the answer is.
That's it. I hope that's it.
I watched the clip from that this morning. This morning. And I'm like, dang, dude, that's sick. No, I was not inspired by this. I think The Incredibles have crossed over on the internet, specifically because TikTok loves just posting stuff. It's like, it's really up there with SpongeBob. That like, now it's like the internet's favorite media property. And goddamn, the world building in The Incredibles is so good as a superhero property. Also, the voice acting. Holly Hunter is so good as Elastigirl. She's incredible. You know, that scene specifically, that happens right after the really actually dramatic. I watched the scene this morning where Mr. Incredible is seeing all of the superheroes who got killed. And like, they made up like 50 superheroes you all see for a fraction of a second.
And if you pause it, you see like in the wedding scene at the beginning of the movie that many of those people are also in the like at his wedding. And it's so fucked up.
It's incredible.
It's so fucked up.
So like that happens, like there's incredible world building happening. Yeah, no, I just wanted to like slow you guys down, and that was part of the trap. It's like the trap was you can't punch it. Or you can, if you explode it and you shoot at it, it splinters off. So it's like Troy and Umbi are... I mean, here's the thing. I also knew that Umbi was also...
Trumby.
The Trumby!
Yep.
I also knew that, like, Umbi was low on health. That was the other thing. I wanted to wake you guys up in the middle of the night. And we had math to figure that out. So it was like, Umbi's low on health. How are we going to figure this out? Is it going to continue to weigh you guys down? And then I want to make sure you guys have penalties that will go forward dealing with those things. You have physical penalties that might be necessary if pirate shit pops off.
Speaking of which, things popped off with a little spell called Speak with Dead. Cammie, Julia, how long you been hiding that on your character sheet?
I've had it for a while now, and it was really exciting. So my ethos for campaign 3 has always been use as many Valda spells if possible and try to avoid kind of classic 5th edition spell list. But sometimes they're just very useful. Like Counterspell is a useful spell to have. Dimension Door is a useful spell to have. Like there are some like classic ones.
Shout out to Dimension Door that Piney's been doing, but it's a dimension window for Piney.
That's why he gets so many, because that's a high level spell.
I know Piney's just like, no. I do not want to be in this conversation. Nah. Yeah, it was classic enough. And the whole thing about this, God, the D&D movie leaned into this so hard that you only had 5 questions.
Yes.
And like, there was a 10-minute scene about that one rule that Gary Gygax wrote in 1972. I love IP.
I think ours was more fun.
I think ours was more fun as well. It was great. So I'm glad you brought it out. And it's like, you got to sprinkle the classics. Like if you're the kind of person who throws Fireball around, your friends don't like you.
Exactly. It's obnoxious.
You know, it's like it's always like that thing is like, oh, it's a tabletop RPG. You're doing it together. So Fireball affects everyone. It's a large thing. Oh, you only have 5 questions. Here we go. So it's like, if you use it sparingly and don't just like make it in your entire personality, it's very lovely.
And also, Mage Hand Mike worked hard on creating new spells for all these different classes.
Shout
and
out
stuff.
Candy Blast, which is obviously for the witch class.
Pew, pew.
There's one Fireball user in every group of friends, and if you don't know which one it is, it's you.
You're right.
I will say, shout out to Misha. It's me in that campaign.
So, I mean, The meeting 5 was filled with all kinds of stuff. We didn't just speak with the dead. We also checked into the meeting. We made the plan about the lighthouse. But most importantly, Dominique says, I felt so hard for Cammie when Archemedes didn't remember her name. Has this ever happened to you? Like somebody not necessarily being malicious didn't remember you each time you encounter them.
Can I just say, that was one of my fucking favorite things you've ever done to Julia.
She looked so pained and it was so funny.
It was devastating. Truly devastating.
I love Archimedes 7 so much. She's one of my favorite NPCs.
Yes.
I like it because it's like, what if someone from the Hunger Games was in our campaign?
Basically.
And also a big nerd.
He's a big nerd, but he only knows it like, he's a big nerd, but instead of knowing Star Wars stuff, he knows like all of the knots. He's so great. The other thing about the pirates. So the thing is, I knew the name of the pirates before, the nondescript pirate crew.
Yes.
I had written that down, and I'm like, dang, I didn't get a chance to use that in the fight. And then Julia's like, I want to talk to one of those assholes. And I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing. You guys were so suspicious of Radbert immediately, which is like fair and fine, but I didn't get a chance to explain what was happening. That like pirates were just hitting you guys, because that happens regardless, you know, because we're in a pirate world. So I'm glad I got a chance to talk to that, and then we wound our way to Arello and to the weird chest on the beach, which is gross and creepy, and maybe was Radbert coded.
Hell yeah. Has anybody had their name misremembered when somebody really should have?
Yes, but also the reverse happens to me a lot. I'm terrible with names and faces. And I remember specifically, like, in the first, 3 weeks of college, I was, walking out of my dorm and someone's like, oh, Julia. And I looked at them. I'm like, I've never met this person in my life. I don't know who this person is. And I was like, oh, hey, how's it going? I just, a 10-minute conversation. I was like, I don't know who this is. I don't remember the context in which we met. Oh, no.
I have a similar problem, yeah. I am fine with faces. I can remember your face, but I will not remember anyone's name. And so I just default to yo, what up? How you doing? You know?
Nice to see you.
Yeah, I just
not to
do
meet
not
you,
say a name.
never to meet you. My hack for this is being married to Eric, who remembers the name, face, and origin of every person he knows.
That's great.
I'm pretty good at it, yeah.
Amanda, my favorite line, and I did steal this from Hey Riddle Riddle, but it's always nice to meet you.
Great.
The old Hollywood trick is it's so good to see you or something.
Yeah.
Because that implies that you've seen them, that it could imply that you've seen them before previously, or it's the first time you're meeting them.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a thing that someone who's been psychologically marinated in Chicago improv comedy comes up with.
Yes.
I'm like, I can see the genetically modified.
Yes.
It's like, this chicken had giant breasts and was engineered for that. I can see how it's been modified to be the single most relatable thing you could say in a conversation.
Yes, correct.
Speaking of fitting things in, how in the world, Dominique asks, does Archimedes fit in his tiny boat? The boat's so tiny.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a sailboat and you're like, there certainly couldn't be more to this sailboat, and then there's a full cabin underneath? I think it just looks like it's not a big boat, but then there's a lot of cabin space that is just underneath the water.
It's aerodynamic, but it's not tiny in square footage.
Exactly.
It's all below the water, I think.
Just like me. All below the surface.
All below the water, baby.
All below the surface.
That sailboat, as I said, was based off the most expensive sailboat, one of those ones, it's aerodynamically made, carbon fiber, blah, 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 blah. And it's made only for one or two people to sail it. So yeah, that was the whole thing. It was he big, but he can just slide down. But I think that there's only he's in a bunker in down there. It's only big enough for him and the ability to reach out and get some nutrition goo.
Yeah.
Nice.
When you think about Archimedes too much, it's sad.
Is he one of those people that replaces all of his meals with that shake drink or whatever?
Soylent.
Yeah, Soylent.
Yeah, the den mothers who taught him that's raising him to be a builder candidate say that food is fuel. You know they do.
Yeah, he's basically a Silicon Valley bro, but also that's the only life he knows and he's fine with it. So, that's not sad. That's just what it is.
He's a Nepo finance bro. Interesting.
Yes.
Listen, 70% of all builders were related to a previous builder.
Facts.
It's like the Bush administration.
I was just gonna say it was annoying when builders 41 and 43 were father and son.
They're both named George Bush,
Yes.
which works in our worlds.
It does.
World.
It does. Damn, you're right. All right, folks. We also, of course,
I'm imagining someone throwing a shoe at a mulberry bush.
And then I'm imagining him retiring 30 years later and painting dogs
yeah.
badly.
And it's like looking back, the first one was not as bad as we all thought.
Right.
Like, that's kind of where it all started to go to shit afterward.
Yeah.
Someone leaning down to tell a mulberry bush about 9/11.
It's just a bunch of like grubs or like a bunch of like little baby larvae listen to his bedtime story book.
Yeah.
Tough.
Here's a.
It's fine. They're God Kings. It's fine.
I don't want to insert too many tour things, but I tried to make a 9/11 reference last night at Minneapolis show, and it did not go over well.
They don't understand.
They weren't here on the ground for 9/11. Yeah.
I think about that a lot. How like
9/11? Sorry.
Brandon was drinking, Amanda.
I didn't see him.
That's so funny.
let's move on. Let's go on. I don't want to finish this. I don't want to finish my thought.
Episode 38, of course, ends with the reveal that the key for a gaze is a walkin', talkin', rootin', tootin', anthropomorphized key. I sure didn't see that coming. Players, how did you react to meeting the key for the gaze?
I truly thought that it was going to be like a wild, like, this took over someone's body and it's extremely fucked up body horror. And then Eric was like, no. I'm like, fair enough.
No, he's good. He's good.
Yeah, he's just a guy.
This used to be a tree and it got compressed
Yes.
into a key.
Yeah, I just thought it was going to be some like artifact with an eye on it or something, or like it looked at something that was part of like the trap to get there or whatever it is.
Right. Like you had to like look through the key in order to like see the hidden path or something like that.
And Eric outsmarted us.
No, it's just a fucking guy.
He's a guy.
Victoria Rose importantly wants to know, did the key for a gaze ever come across to other people as a key for the gaze? Gays.
Mm-hmm.
What is the key for the gaze?
All keys are for the gays in Verda Stello.
Have you ever seen a lesbian with all the keys?
That's it.
There's a song about it.
Ring of keys, baby.
Ring of keys is the keys for the gaze.
Ring of keys,
Yeah.
parentheses, Verda Stello's version.
Yeah, I'm glad you all enjoyed it. You all freaked out. It was pretty cool.
It was really cool.
I enjoyed that. I mean, I'm still out here trying to amuse and surprise all of you. I feel like things were a little bit slow in the middle here, like when I was trying to establish the world, the knowledge that like all these pirates were looking at you, the size and the breadth of everything. And then we spent like longer chunks of episodes like talking to NPCs, which again is fine. I really do see a lot of this like a point and click adventure, you guys taking your time looking at what you want to look at, and then we kind of run that down. But it's like, you know, we spent that whole episode talking to all the NPCs at the pre-party, and then like you guys talking to the dead, running down this mystery. I was like, oh, I gotta start doing my surprises because this is already episode 5.
Yeah.
And I know that episode 1 didn't really count, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I don't know. I was very excited to like reveal that because it's something I've been sitting on for a while now that I really have wanted to tell you for a minute.
Yeah.
So fun.
And also your pirate voice for Key for Gaze.
It was my classic
Very
pirate
good.
voice.
I know, it's very good.
I didn't
Very
know it was good. I
didn't either.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, it's Jeffrey Rush as the guy from Pirates of the
Barbossa,
Caribbean.
yeah.
As Barbossa saying, "You, girl, lady, you don't believe in ghost stories. Well, now you're living in one.
You're in one."
Yeah, that's the key phrase.
It's
love
good. It's good shit.
The key phrase. Get it? Because it's the phrase that puts you in the voice of the key.
Woo, 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 woo. That's Amanda's secret word.
Thank you. Moss wants to know, Eric, how long have you been planning the meeting, and how do you decide which keys the other contestants had?
Honestly, a lot of that stuff came to me more naturally because we do know where all of them are at this point.
If we take the one-shots Legends Across the Tides, yeah, as canon, our characters don't know, but players know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's like, Kid Cervantes has the cloud key. We know, and we've already established that there are a lot of maze keys. The key for a gaze is living and out here living their best key life. And then the key that still hurts has thorns on it and is just out there. So we've seen all 4 of them, right? We've seen all the Dragon Balls. So it's like, it made it actually kind of easier that I'm like, oh, now I know where honestly, it wasn't that hard to determine because I just knew it. Like it was self-evident in that way, which was nice. Which is why, again, you got to take as many sessions as possible. The more sessions you can take one at a time, the better, because it will just make all of your planning as easy as possible. In terms of the NPCs, I kind of like all the people we've met are then relevant. There are things in anime. I mean, this happened in One Piece, and I love it. But like, there's one episode where they introduce like 10 new pirate crews. There's a whole thing where it turns out that like Luffy's ship with the main guy and like all of our friends, the Straw Hat Pirates, are like part of like this new crew of pirates that are ripping shit up. And like there are old pirates who have been around for a very long time. But now there's this new terrible crew, and then we meet like 8 new crews that are all absolutely wild. And I'm like, I can't just keep introducing more important NPCs. So it's like the Key for a Gaze was my fun new NPC, but it's like the people you've met are relevant because they're doing the thing.
Right.
We've established this before that like you guys are like, seekers, you're hunters. In a very, like, for those of you who watched the seminal movie Ready Player One, but also read the book, it's like, you're gunters. Like, you're looking for the thing instead of just participating in the pirate world. So it's like, yes, of course Lucky Edie's there. Of course Archie's there. Of course even Drew's is there. Of course Aurello is around. Of course all these people are there. And it's fun talking to NPCs in a specific context, which is what I think Lustrious was trying to do in the first place.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm rich enough that I can make a context. Let's make a context. That's what rich people do. Like, rich people, I was watching Billions on the plane. That's what I was learning, Brandon, on the plane. I was learning about what it's like to be billions.
Oh, hey, listener, it's just you and me here now. Did you know that bulldogs were originally bred to fight bulls? Thank you.
Brandon watched an instructional video on the plane this time, and I looked over. I'm like, is Brandon watching a dog training video? He doesn't have a dog. What's going on?
That's all right, Julia. He hasn't been to a glacier either, and yet he watched videos about those.
Actually, I have been to a glacier. I went to one in Alaska.
Yeah, remember he saw the bald eagles on the dump.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, America.
And at one point, they brought this guy in to like do it's like a financial crimes deposition, and Paul Giamatti's like, hey, yeah, so tell me about X. And Bobby Axelrod is this like rich guy, and they're investigating for financial crimes. And this guy says is like, he's less of a person and more of a nation state. And I really like that. Is like, if you are the kind of person who has enough power on the Great Salt Sea, you are as important, or information flows through you, or you can create contexts to get people to do what you want or be where you want, honestly, and then see what they do, like your little toys. That's what Lustrious was trying to do.
I love that.
Love it. And Eric, how far back from the rhyme did you know that the Key with a Gaze was like alert and had an eye?
A guy.
A guy. I like how I just described personhood as alert and have an eye.
That's me.
That's what it says in the dictionary. Yeah.
Only after I've had my coffee.
Am I right?
Am I right?
Am I right?
A while. I think around the time that I started, when I made the rhyme, I needed to figure out what they were. And I don't know when I decided the key was alive. I knew that it had an eye and a seeing eye. And it was going to be closer to something, the thing you suggested, Brandon.
Damn, dude.
But I definitely knew that, like, at some point, I'm like, oh, it'd be interesting if it was alive. I had other ideas, like, maybe they, like, someone found it and brought it there. Like, look, I found the Key for a Gaze, then it turns out it was alive. Like, they kidnapped him. But I kind of liked that the key had their own agency, Yeah,
wow. Folks, we have many more questions to come, including some excellent sandwich-related questions. Ooh. Julia, steal yourself. But first, I'm going to nip into the kitchen here in Minneapolis and get us all some more cold brew.
Thanks, Amanda.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, it's Amanda. We are so grateful to all of you who have made it out to the Rolling Bones tour. I am recording this just before our Boston show, which is halfway through the tour, so still plenty of opportunities to come and see us tonight as you're hearing this episode in New York, or the next day in Philadelphia, or the following day in DC. And remember, if you can't make it in person, you can make it with the video on demand. Just buy a ticket anyway, as if you are coming to the show, and we will send you a a link to the VOD as soon as we can after the show. We are so stoked, and we're also sending signed posters to anyone who buys tickets to 4 or more shows. So you're welcome, and thank you, and we love the Rolling Bones tour. Also, on account of said tour, I don't know who has signed up for the Patreon in the last week, but thank you so much if you have. We will absolutely thank you by name when we are back. You help make this tour and this show and our livings possible by being patrons and supporting the show and supporting our work at patreon.com/jointhepartypod. I'll also tell you that multiple times on this tour so far, I have seen people say, oh wait, are you Tinkerbeast? Oh wait, are you Ginger Snapped? Like their Discord usernames, and be like, oh my God, I love your work, and embrace each other in like the audience of shows because they recognize each other from Discord. And if that's not the best sign that I could possibly give you to join our patron only Discord, I don't know what is, baby. Patreon.com/jointhepartypod. People all over North America are making plans to go see the total solar eclipse happening in just a week and change. And if you want to learn all about celestial bodies and planets and why things are the way they are, and maybe what people have thought about eclipses over time, you got to check out Pale Blue Pod. This is the astronomy podcast for people who are overwhelmed by the universe and maybe a little bit scared, but do want to be its friend. Where astrophysicist Dr. Moya McTeer and comedian Corinne Caputo demystify space one topic at a time. They are the absolute best. They're the people I want to sort of ask a question that feels a little bit vulnerable to, and then they'll give me a great and funny answer that will help me feel more at home in the universe. And if that doesn't, again, persuade you to check out the show, I don't know what will. New episodes come out every Monday, so go on and check out Pale Blue Pod in your podcast app. We are sponsored this week by Factor, who make delicious, ready-to-eat meals that make eating much easier, which I know I am always looking for. No matter what you're doing, whether, for example, you will be home in your apartment for about 18 hours for the New York City live show that you may or may not be doing for your Dungeons & Dragons podcast, and you're like, hey, what the hell am I going to eat because I haven't been home in 10 days, and also I'm not going to be home for 5 more. I have great news, which is that you can absolutely use Factor for a situation like that. They have 2-minute meals, so they have restaurant quality meals ready to heat and eat, which are super, super useful. They have snacks and smoothies and more. I loved their protein shakes, the one that was the like cold brew flavored protein shake with almond milk already. Oh my God, it was so good and so useful when I get to just kind of grab it on my way to the next thing. And if you are in the habit of ordering takeout, they've done the math and Factor is less expensive than takeout. Plus, every meal is guaranteed to be delicious and nutritious. So if you want to check out Factor, go to factormeals.com/jointheparty50 and use the code jointheparty50 to get 50% off. That's 50. The code is jointheparty50 at factormeals.com/jointheparty50 to get 50% off. Next, we are sponsored by Mox Boardinghouse, another of the fantastic local game stores that we are partnering with here on the Rolling Bones tour. Now, Mox Boardinghouse is a dining experience that offers fine foods and drinks, along with a board game store filled with all of your favorites, plus many, many more, perhaps pre-favorites that you have yet to discover. They are located in the Pacific Northwest with one in Portland, one in Bellevue, and one in Seattle. They look absolutely incredible. They have a huge selection of products from Magic cards and D&D to Warhammer 40K and more. And the team is super, super sweet. They're there to help you with questions and recommendations. So whether you want to use their free game library while you enjoy a meal or drinks with friends or maybe your enemies, I don't know, you can do that there. And also they can recommend new stuff that you can try. Meet new players, enjoy daily events. Seriously, events are happening every single day there, and help grow the gaming community in the PN Dub by checking out Mox Boardinghouse. And finally, we are sponsored by Never Post, a podcast for and about the internet. They ask questions about why the internet and the world, because the internet is a huge part of our world, is the way it is. Every episode starts with news of the week, followed by 2 stories about things you didn't know you wanted to know about the internet. And listen, they're not trying to explain the internet to you because you're on it, you're here, you get it, but you might have questions like, why are influencers changing the way that the English language sounds? Why are YouTubers retiring en masse? And why does reading reading the news on my phone make me so tired. They have lots of ideas, but also the team brings in people like linguists, lawyers, psychologists, etc., to help explain and answer some of these questions. The show is great, made by a friend of the pod, Mike Rignetta and team. So go on ahead and find Never Post in your podcast app or at neverpo.st. That's Never Post, but the little dots between the O and the S. All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and get to the venue for our Rolling Bones Boston tour. And in the meantime, enjoy the rest of the after party. All right, folks, we're back. And some of the
you got little Juicy Lucy sliders, Amanda?
I did.
Thank you.
They have a
getting
fried
so
egg on
hungry.
top because it's brunch.
Oh, I love it.
Guys, I'm getting so hungry. We can't make these jokes.
I want that. Now I want that.
All right, almost done. Juicy Lucy's after this. It's our little reward for our content.
Yay.
I'm very excited that you said almost done, and then people look down and there's 30 more minutes.
At least.
I'm fine with that. That's the multitude promise.
The thing is, you say almost done, and so the person's thought is, oh yeah, I can do this. And then 20 minutes from now, you also say almost done.
Amanda's social engineering it.
Oh,
It's
it's
my
the best kind of hacking.
And also engineering. That's Eric said that by mistake, and I'm like, oh no, you're right. Like, I'm sure out there are mechanical engineers, chemical engineers, civil engineers, all kinds of engineers. I'm sorry, respectfully, social engineers went to school for longer than all of you.
Respectfully,
The school of life. Sorry, I had to finish the joke.
respectfully, from everything I hear about Jake's job, I think civil engineering is social engineering.
Yes. All right, folks, with our cold brews in hand and our Juicy Lucy sliders here in front of us, Ginger would like to know, is there a fully stocked kitchen at the convention center, prepped for whatever lunch choice was made? Or did someone have to place a delivery order for catering level amounts of sandwiches? I need to know about how they could wait until an hour before to decide how to feed this many people.
I
Okay.
want it to be the latter because that's my convention experience at every convention we've been
Yes,
to.
Eric, don't even bother. I got
Yeah,
this.
Eric, shut up.
Here's exactly what happened is that Eric put a joke about lunch on the blackboard, and then we took it and ran with it. So here's what the answer is officially from the editor: is that there was catered lunch for the first day. And then there was, did we like the lunch? Should we do that again or order something different for the next day on the agenda? Now, very importantly, it is DoorDash via a ship that came.
I mean, I
Wait.
did this intentionally because I made it a convention center. So, like, everyone who's ever been to a convention is like, yeah, I like this joke. This is funny.
The DoorDash is actually just a regular pirate ship, but it's made out of doors.
Oh, see, I was thinking a door that skimmed across the waves like a stone.
I think just scavenged doors that they
Yeah.
found like wrecked on the sea.
I mean, I think it's both. It's a lightweight chip because if it's made out of scavenged, there's only so much you can do, and then it skips because you have like a big fan behind it.
And you can only fit one person on it. That's a Titanic reference.
Nice.
Nice.
I like the idea of a fan boat though on the,
Very
on
cute,
the water.
right?
It's very
Yeah.
cool.
Now I'm imagining a Rose just letting a hot boy die.
That also works in our world.
It works,
Yeah.
that's what I'm
George
saying.
Bush and Rose.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes. Ginger also asked, for a guy who's had people sneak up on him before, Lustrious seems to be very trusting that this pirate convention will go off without a hitch. Are there any secret measures that maybe were planted ahead of time to stop any possible wrongdoers like Audrey? Or is he really going to be caught sleeping again?
Is the answer wealth, Eric?
Yeah, it's wealth.
Okay.
Wealth insulates you, gives you a false sense of like imperviousness.
100%. Yes, that's what it is.
He's also got Salix, who's like a huge, basically bodyguard, and
True.
they are cool as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Salix is tight as hell. I love Salix. And yes, I mean, it's a combination of that too. It's like, also the thing about this whole meeting is like, this isn't the goddamn Continental Congress. It's a meeting of pirates. So it's like, what does things not going well mean? What are Lustrious's KPIs here? You know
Good
what
question.
I mean?
Good question.
So it's like, to us, yes, this is obviously nonsense and ridiculous, but like, what does Lustrious want? What does Lustrious think is success? I think is an interesting question, which we address in the third episode here.
Yeah, and as he says, he's gathering people. He's not responsible for the outcome. He's gathering people here because someone has to.
That sounds like something you say in front of Congress when you've accidentally killed a bunch of people at your conference.
Oh yeah, that's corporate responsibility.
Yeah.
When you're brought in front of Congress and you say, I don't remember, that's when you're not remembering. I do not recall. But yeah, like when Lucky Edie is withholding information and Lustrious is annoyed by it, it's like, you're here to spill the tea. That is it. What are we doing here? Like, why did you show up? Why are you getting the key if you are not if you're going to be this card to the chest about it, you know?
God, I hate Lucky Edie.
I know. Ninskolos wants to know, why does the gaze key know what a salmon is? Or at least saying it can find a fish? And why is it a carnivore if it's eating the chicken salad sandwich?
Well, it's chicken of the woods salad.
Yeah.
It's chicken
That's right. That's right. So that's a mushroom. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's a who can say, right?
Because it was a funny joke to say. It was a funny joke to say.
That he knows the salmon?
The key for a gaze, there's a lot of stuff that we have not determined about where it comes from, what it is, why it's here, what does it understand. Yeah, I mean, we don't know what the deal with the key is. And the fact that the key knows about the salmon, everyone knows about the salmon. That's what you have to remember, is like the salmon and this prophecy is like the guiding idea. It's almost like, regardless of whether or not it's true or not, it's like manifest destiny. Like, everyone in the United States knows about manifest destiny. Europeans, it's the idea that like the people who colonized the United States started from one side and had to go all the way to the other side.
It was like
God
ordained
wants
by
us
God.
to.
Yeah, God told us to. You know, it's like the idea that, you know, Egyptians thought the pharaohs were god kings, or Charlemagne thought he was a god king, you know, or the sun king, you know. It's like, I'm saying a bunch of European history. It doesn't matter. Like, it's a forming world building myth of the world that we're in. So of course the key knows about it.
I don't answer this, Eric, but yeah, I do wonder what inside knowledge this key with the gaze has, though.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
he said the word fish, which nobody in this campaign has said for 39 episodes. So something's going on.
Besides, like, the idea of, like, the angler fish and stuff like that.
Yes,
It's always
yes.
combined with something else,
Yes.
though. Like Avatar rules.
He's right.
Exactly.
The animals are avatar rules. That's right.
Dominique has a few very important questions. First,
Bring
has Troy considered asking Aubergine, cough, cough, Francois, for kind of a baby sling to carry his little pumpkin close to him? Importantly, Troy has learned weaving. So he has made a little baby sling. Like, the hammock can become a baby sling
Like a
for the
papoose.
pumpy.
Does Troy have a loom somewhere in the ship?
I think it's more like macrame,
Oh, okay.
so he can do it handheld.
Cool.
Dominique also asks, is Umbi running anime style with his arms behind him make him the new Hokage?
I think Julia told me I couldn't Naruto run for some reason in the
think I did
episode.
say that.
I don't remember why. But
It's wrong.
I in my head I had the picture. It was a Dragon Ball Z scene. I'm sure it happens multiple times, but like you have a big close up of like a villain's face or something, and then it cuts like a jump cuts to the hero running towards them, but it's like at a far distance.
Starting far away and then getting closer and
And so
closer.
you see all you see is like a huge dust cloud and someone going, and then cuts between those two. You know,
Like the Roadrunner.
yeah.
I want to talk about that for a while. There was nothing funnier to me than like Umbi walking around like he cut class. I thought that was so funny.
But you're so right. Like, I'm going to say this is a good plan of ours to say that when everybody else is occupied, like, we don't know who is responsible for the shooting. We don't know if somebody got to the lighthouse earlier, if somebody's like set up camp there, planning to sabotage us specifically, the meeting in general. And so it makes all the sense in the world to do it during the like summit that all of us were brought there for.
Facts.
Quick related but unrelated question: How have any of you three actually skipped class? Did you, Alfred, in high school?
Never once.
No, I don't think so.
There were times, and I think that you two can agree with this, where it's like you got approval from a theater teacher.
But not approval.
Oh, not approval?
Just cut class. Am I the only one that's done this?
Yeah, yes.
I think
You rebellious nerd.
because like all the things that we did, I think we got the thrill of cutting class just by being in the school in off hours, which is like if you did too many extracurriculars, you're just like in the school when you're not supposed to. It's kind of the vibe.
I would often be pulled out of class to go fix an AV problem in the auditorium for a different teacher and then didn't return to class. So that's my version of that.
Yeah, like we did something close to that,
Yeah.
I think.
It was very fun. And folks, we have a hot delivery right in from the Postmaster Library Chick.
Ooh.
Oh, luckily it went through international customs, so it has a sticky note on the side that tells us exactly what it is.
Do we owe VAT on this, or?
No, Library Chick took care of that for
Great,
us.
thank you.
Thank you, Library Chick.
Thank you. With the level of technology in Verda Stello, it seems to me like there would be TV. What kind of TV shows would our crew watch?
Well, there's canonically TV, or at least television
Yes.
sets.
There's reporting, there's news.
Yes.
But I have to assume there's going to be like TV for
entertainment.
entertainment.
Yeah. I'm assuming puppet shows mostly, Eric?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, honestly, I think this is something closer to like 1940s and 50s style movies, you know? How it's like you get a lot of stuff together, but it's more like recorded theater or something that like you got to communicate news in that way. So yeah, no, we're not talking about like mass media yet, which kind of just like rudimentary stuff. No one's monetizing television yet, I think.
I think Cammie would watch like shows like Julia Child on PBS and stuff like that. But if we were talking more modern stuff, Cammie would love like a Great British Bake Off kind of style show.
Sure. I like the Julia Child thing. That's like that level of PBS is
Yeah.
like what is on TV right now.
Yeah, I think I like to imagine Troy getting really into documentaries and airplane educational videos in that genre of like, you know, historical armor making and gardening and all kinds of stuff that he can learn.
What's that competition show of like weapon forging or iron forging or whatever?
Forged in Fire.
Forged in Fire. Yeah.
No, the competition would make him cry, but he would watch only the like very idyllic. Like there's this one BBC program where it follows like a manor house garden through all of the seasons, and it's like 12 episodes, one for each month.
That's
of just
cute.
like what you do to prepare for the garden. I watch that shit all the time. It's so soothing.
I need to watch that. That's great.
Yeah. Question from Torbo the Shield. What does Troy think of tater tots? They're basically little French fry barrels. I made tater tots for the family tonight, and after I saw it, I couldn't unsee it.
I love it.
Right?
I just realized that we're also firmly in the Midwest, and we can have hot dish.
We could have hot dish.
Yeah, I've never had it before.
Explain to the people what hot dish is.
Do you think they have hot dish at the Mall of America?
Oh, there's got to be a place that does hot dish at the Mall of America.
Like a hipster hot dish?
Yeah.
Probably.
I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I just know there's tater tots on top.
It's like casserole with tater tot topping. No?
Yeah.
Hipster Hot Dish was my band in college.
I'm so sorry that Pitchfork has shut down, so they can't review your EP.
No, they already did it. They gave me a 4.
Hey, Eric, for Pittsburgh?
Pretty good. I made it in my dorm. Me and Donald Glover were doing it together.
But no, Torbo, I think that you're completely right. Tater tots are little barrels what are made of shredded potatoes. And Troy would absolutely love them if he ever had them.
Well, here's a question, though. Is it a barrel? Because a barrel I think a barrel has to be empty on the inside.
It's
but
barrel shaped. It's
barrel
not
shaped.
It's not a barrel.
So a fan, but not like, you know, inherently excited by the thought of a tater tot.
yeah, I think like a gardener who likes to wear earrings that are
Yeah.
vegetables and fruits. Like it's
Yeah.
not the thing, but it evokes the thing.
Well,
love
Brandon, what if you filled a barrel full of wood chips?
I
Then
think
it'd
that's
be
a
barrel full of wood chips.
Well, that's what
Okay.
I'm saying. You can't really fill a barrel full of barrel, you know?
Ooh, it must be like
It'd
a
be
Russian
a
nesting
potato
doll.
barrel full of potatoes is a barrel full of potatoes.
When you make a barrel, first you have to invent the universe.
Oh boy.
All right.
No, so true, so true. I think we had our most interacted with question on the Join the Party Discord of all
Ooh.
time because this question from Evie Grace had like dozens and dozens of people reacting via emotes to it, and including Jaya, a friend of the pod, saying, "Give this woman a jokin'." So Evie Grace says, "When Umbi was doing the commercial about not smoking, did he mean don't smoke, comma kids with an exclamation point, or don't smoke kids?" Meaning small tobacco plant children. Just wondering if Big Tobacco, the pirate ship, was doing only semi-nefarious things or truly nefarious things.
Oh, man. I think this might be an Eric question because I don't want to put too much darkness in your world, but I do like that second option.
This is pretty dark.
This is one of the war crimes Millie did. She smoked kids.
Whoa. Kind of hot.
I think that's the campaign is like
Not
the
a deal breaker, but
the ambiguity in the grammar is the campaign. It's
Yes.
like don't smoke, comma kids, and also don't smoke kids. It's like that's the whole part of the campaign, you know.
That was really funny when we did that.
Yeah, it was-
that was
really
really was.
funny.
To be fair, I did edit it to make me sound funnier because there was a large portion of silence where I could not think of a good
That's
joke.
okay. That's fine.
okay, that's Dungeons and Dragons, baby. That's podcasting.
Sorry, Brandon. I'm looking at Google and it said, "Did you mean podcasting?"
Victoria Rose asks, what kind of sandwich would everyone, player and character, have at a convention lunch? I'm going to start with Julie on this one, where there's often like a room temperature pasta salad, a room temperature green salad, and a couple sandwich options at like at least a US convention. What is your best case scenario?
I mean, there is no best case scenario in my mind. It depends on how I feel, but like if they have like even if it's cold, like a breaded chicken sandwich of some kind, I'll usually go for that and then just pile on some of the salad on top of that.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Basically, it's like a salad with a chicken cutlet.
Yeah. Or if I'm like, I have no energy, I've eaten nothing so far today, I'll probably go for like a roast beef or something like that.
Nice.
And again, like I'll eat like a couple bites of that and be like, this sucks. And then I'll probably throw it away.
All right, Eric?
I would also go for a roast beef. You know, I love breaded chicken cutlet, but it's so shitty that I just can't eat it when it's at a convention. So roast beef. Also, roast beef is like one that they're not going to like slather it with mayo. I feel like if I go for turkey, it's like that's going to be 30% mayo.
Yeah.
Only 30?
Yeah, right.
Minimum. My ideal is like what I just realized now how odd this is, but it's a style of sandwich called just American, which we all know what that means, but it's like, what the fuck does that mean? Which would just be like ham, turkey, American cheese, like a limp tomato, and maybe some shredded lettuce.
Like the classic sandwich, yeah.
Yeah. Which, I like the meat combo, and I can peel off that American cheese real easy.
Mm-hmm.
I hate ham and cheese. I don't like ham.
I do too.
I'd rather just have a cheese sandwich.
I'm with you. As someone who didn't grow up eating pork products, there are pork products that don't make any sense to me.
And ham is one of them?
Ham is one of them. Like sliced ham as a deli meat doesn't make any sense to me. Bacon, I think, is stupid. And I think that pepperoni is stupid.
You're
Everyone
wrong
in
about
the room,
that.
just so the audience knows, everyone in the room except Eric just shook their heads at the same time with that.
I know what Eric means, but the way you say it is for maximal content engagement, and so you're going to get a lot of comments.
This YouTuber thinks, I'm making the YouTuber all face. Okay, here it is. Imagine you're someone who's never heard of bacon before. Imagine you're someone who has not eaten pork products before we are in contextless, right? Someone comes up to you and says, here is this crunchy thing that you can eat and you can put it on stuff. It's pretty good, right? And then you take a bite of it and it's salty and it's crunchy and it's good. But would you make it your entire personality? Would you say it's your best friend? Would you say it's your favorite food? I would say no. I think the bacon exists because of how the pork lobby and how America is obsessed with pork.
Eric,
and this is the crunchy version of pork.
You're on that 2009
Late
bacon
2000s.
tip
Yes.
situation.
Well, that's true. That one is true.
Yeah.
That the pork lobby did in fact spend a lot of money making bacon people's personality. That's true because the Asian wave of 2009 sushi was still like, oh my god, sushi. So it's like we didn't know about pork belly just yet.
Pork belly had not yet been normalized to white people as a thing you should eat.
So that's why they wanted to sell more pork belly, and that's why bacon is made out of pork belly. That's what the bacon craze was. That one's real.
But I completely understand what you mean, where it's like, you grew up in, elementary and middle school as the I'm a bro with the mustache on Reddit and I love bacon, as that was at its height. And then when you had bacon, it must have been like, okay.
It's fine. Eat
that
good
makes total
bacon.
sense.
I've had incredible bacon.
Yeah.
I've had really good bacon from butchers, and I made it myself, and it's good, but not enough to call it my favorite food. Not enough to seek it out on a restaurant. Julia is so dismissive.
No, my problem is we cannot talk about this right before lunchtime. I'm so hungry.
All right, Julia, we're
but
close. We're close.
I agree completely, though. I wish if you're a person that says, oh, bacon, then you have too much enthusiasm about bacon.
Sure.
And two, both Umbi's and Brandon sandwiches at the convention would be what I call a cookie sandwich, where you take 2 oatmeal cookies and then you put a chocolate chip in the middle of those 2 cookies and then eat all 3 cookies at once.
That sounds great.
Oh, yeah, I answered mine, but not Cammie's. And I think Cammie's just like, I'll have a salad.
Yeah. Try any. Just whatever. Give me 3 people's portions of it.
When I was in freshman year, in my dorm had a.
Were you in Hayden or whatever?
I was in Weinstein.
Oh.
And there was a food thing on the bottom. The word is a cafeteria about where you can just swipe and they give you infinite food. And we would sit there for hours. And I made something called an ice cream sandwich, which is where I took 2 pieces of bread and I toasted them. And then I took ice cream and I put it in between the 2.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Especially
Julia?
like a brioche. And
No,
then
Julia, it was shitty.
I don't care. I'm just thinking how to
That'll be
escalate.
great.
It would be good.
Yeah. That's
Julia,
essentially
thanks
a
for
French
supporting me. Thank you, dude.
I got you, bro.
Thanks, Doc.
All right, folks, some rapid fire to end this episode from Am Not a Goldfish. Are kiwi green folks skin on or skin off? Skin on.
Both.
Skin on.
Oh,
Both.
but when they go swimming, skin off.
Oh.
But here's the thing is we've seen like orange slice people.
That's true.
So maybe the kiwi is a slice of kiwi with skin on.
True.
Oh.
Mel 118, when purple potato green folk eat stew, what's in that stew?
Whatever they want, baby.
What I'm now getting from like the separatist group in the woods is like there's a real combination of various separatists I know from history. So
Sure.
I'm just like, oh yeah, like a paella.
Yeah.
Also, thank you for coming on the journey of me taking all the nightshades and turning them into
yeah.
crags.
So fun.
That's what Aubergine's doing. He's just hanging out.
I miss him.
I miss him too.
I know, me too. I hope we see him soon. Moss left us a bunch of excellent questions that I will be saving for future after parties. The one that I most want to answer right now is, what emojis would the crew use most when texting?
Umbi's would be eggplant.
Great. I think Cammie's is the like content blushing smile.
Yeah, that's really good. Maybe the pink flower, like the cherry blossom flower.
And also just a bunch of hearts. Cammie's like every message ends in like 5 different hearts. Sometimes it's a rainbow. Sometimes they're all one color, you know.
That's
cute.
really good.
Brennan, can I ask you a follow-up question? Does Umbi just like indiscriminately use the eggplant?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good.
It's for
like,
emphasis.
It's like in words. Like without taking out letters. It's just in between words.
Oh no. Like pussy in bio? Tough.
I like the idea also that Umbi like uses one of the emojis for the letter B and only uses the emoji for the letter B instead.
Yeah.
That'd be funny.
I think Troy learned semaphore when in basic training. And so he'll occasionally, I think especially with Cammie, she'd be good at this, text in semaphore just for fun.
That's
with the flags.
fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Troy uses a lot of the flags for sure.
Cammie's like, it's like a little puzzle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, folks, now it is time for Spoil the Plank. Are we ready to walk the plank toward the Mall of America?
Avast ye.
All right.
You best start believing in walking the plank because you're doing it.
That was the first version they did of that. It just didn't quite stick.
Yeah.
It's like,
They're
Jeff,
like, we're going to ignore
We
the
punch
ghost
this
pirate
up.
part. We're just walking you off the
Yeah,
plank.
the test
Punch this up.
audiences.
Yep.
Yeah.
hey Jeffrey, give me some alts.
From Mel 118, what on earth is Lucky Edie hiding from you?
That bitch.
Who can say?
Who could say?
Great question.
From Dominique, how was the key with a gaze able to arrive at the meeting? Why are they coming now and not just after the cascade dried up? And lastly, is Cammie going to try and be friends and reason with Audrey the Rotten Queen?
Who can say?
Can't say.
This is something I want to communicate. It's a great question, but you have to understand the key for a gaze is like, I don't know, like a wanderer, like a lone gunman kind of situation. I know that we've kind of established this with Kid Cervantes, but like the key with the gaze, whenever they started being alive, I guess, is like a not well known, but like a self-sufficient creature. So it's like doing stuff around. You just like, they choose to reveal themselves when they want to choose to reveal themselves. They're a specific kind of person.
I think it's like in mythology, like I'm thinking particularly in Norse mythology where it's like, yeah, you know, the god just kind of wandered around in disguise for many years.
Yes.
And like, you know, people had adventures with them, but they weren't necessarily like, and I'm Odin, bitches.
It's like, wait a second. You've been Thor the whole time? That's upsetting. I can't believe you didn't tell me that. Julia.
It's me. I've been Thor the whole time. I love to drink.
And finally, from Rax a Mess. This is a very cool theory. So, ready?
Excited.
Because of the draught stones, there's an implication that the cascade has dried up before. We also have a couple instances of people making their way in, even when the cascade was flowing, such as Gloria and the designer of the Divine Labyrinth. Since she's a historical figure, I would guess there was a drought in her time, and then that it would also be recorded. So my question is, will we find a group that may have developed from a previous drought? From the communities we've seen on the Great Salt Sea, it feels like some of them would want to stay, maybe, even after the cascade resumes. So might we find groups that predate the current drought, whose ancestors were from a previous one? Or Glorio seemed to behave as if the Great Salt Sea was a secret, but a secret that at least some people did know about. So perhaps there's a colony of people who left in between droughts just to escape bureaucracy and make their own society, following the whispered legend of the Great Salt Sea, and maybe they're still out there now.
I wouldn't be surprised if once we got to assuming we do get to like the middle of the thing where the salmon is or whatever, like there might be some folks there that, like in King Kong, like the people that lived on Skull Island.
I was
Yeah,
going to say
that
like
situation.
Atlantis. Like
Yeah,
this feels
yeah.
like such an Atlantis origin myth to me.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one's smarter and makes you sound cooler, so do Atlantis.
Thanks,
Well,
we
then,
should
Brandon,
just
let
take
me-
that one and put my voice and Julia's voice and then, do that one.
Brandon, let me do a little bookend so you don't feel as alone.
Okay.
I genuinely, with my full brain, thought, oh yeah, what's in the depression of the Bialy? Are there people there?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, the
Maybe.
depression of the Bialy is the Great Salt Sea.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, what's in the very middle?
I don't know.
Maybe it's people.
Maybe it's people.
It's garlic.
Amazing. I really like that thought, Rax. Thank you for sharing it. And folks, I gotta say, I really like hanging out with you and performing live shows and seeing people and getting dice gifts and making japes for our job.
Same.
It's good stuff. This has been going pretty well. We've already started talking about another tour. Like, I'm very excited about it. I know we've only done 2, and maybe Brandon's going to turn into Keith Richards around Boston.
You'll see soon.
Once we have to be in a car together for extended periods of time, it might get all fucked up.
Honestly, I'm more excited about that. The flying is like stressful just because it's like schedule to schedule, but like the driving is just going to be tight.
Can we get Pepe's Pizza in between Boston and New York,
We have
guys?
time, yeah.
I'd
Probably.
like to do that.
Yeah, it's really good.
So like I'm excited about another one. Like the more people who go to these shows and the more people who buy the VODs, both contemporarily and also when Amanda puts them online in our shop,
JoinThePartyPod.com/live.
then the more times we can be proving that we can do this.
Hell yeah.
And it's already going well, so we're already talking about it, but it's like, let's come out and then tell us where you live. We're going to do another survey, as we always do. We're going to do it in the summer. We're going to do another survey about where y'all live, and we're going to go to those places.
Maybe we can do just like a live only survey where it's like,
Yeah.
just tell us where you live.
Yeah, y'all are showing up. You're showing out. We are so excited. The VODs look crisp. They look great. We're filming them with a real camera and then putting in the good audio. So
Shout out
they
to
are
Amanda.
quality VODs. Except in Seattle where the audio is good, but not crisp.
Yeah.
which
Shout
is
out
okay.
to Zoom Corporation, who has one excellent recorder that I'm recording into and one that just broke.
Absolutely.
The audio, I don't think we're going to be able to publish the audio for the Seattle, so you can only enjoy that.
You can
VOD.
only do it in the VOD. Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible. I'm having so much fun. Let's all get some burgers. What have cheese inside?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're...
Okay. Bye, everybody.
So what are you saying? That like if a skeleton was at the top of a hill in Minneapolis and then rolled down that, and then it would like turn into a snowball as it went down and it kept going,
Oh.
what do you think you would call that happening? What would you do? Would you say that it was going to be, when it was doing it, you'd have to
Roll them bones! Lucy Juicy.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.
I'll sing you a song that all green folk know.
Until the waterfalls home.
That only began 50 years ago.
Until the waterfalls home.
We seek the deep lake and a wish-granting salmon.
Until the waterfalls home.
So hoist up the sails and load up the cannon.
Until the waterfalls home.
A rush from the tide sail through the cascade, an adventure ships, a ceaseless parade.